And just when you thought you would never hear from Joe Lieberman again, he comes back. Kind of like a boil or a sore. Now this time he is here attacking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, writing an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal saying that you shouldn't vote for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You should actually vote for Joe Crowley. Wait, Joe Crowley, didn't she beat Joe Crowley? Yes, she did. She crushed him by 15 percentage points in a Democratic primary. But wait, Joe Crowley, he is on the ballot nonetheless for November, running a third-party challenge against Ocasio-Cortez on the Working Families Party platform, or line, I should say. Definitely not on platform. So now, here's the thing. Working Families Party doesn't actually want him on the line and says, you need to get off. We don't want you. We actually endorsed Ocasio-Cortez. And he's like, yeah, it's too difficult, though. I'm not actually running. I said I was going to support her. But, I'm still going to stay on the ballot. Wonderful. Now, let's go to the op-ed here, because this is great. So Joe Lieberman comes out, and he writes this op-ed and says, vote for Joe Crowley. He said, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's surprise victory over Joe Crowley seems likely to hurt Congress, America, and the Democratic Party. But it doesn't have to, because the policies Ms. Ocasio-Cortez advocates are so far from the mainstream. Her election in November would make it harder for Congress to stop fighting and start fixing problems. Okay, so this is fun. Out of the mainstream, her policies are so far left. Really? Well, let's go through a couple of them. Medicare for all. Well, that polls over 60%, right? That polls incredibly well with all Americans. Even some Republicans are in favor of Medicare for all because it makes sense. It's good policy. Free college, for example. Also, polls over 60%. Raising the minimum wage. 71% of Americans want to see the minimum wage increase, even if it means that they have to pay more for their meals if the cost gets handed down to them. Why? It's because they want people who work for a living to have a better quality of life. Well, interesting. I want people to have a better quality of life. So, yeah, most Americans do. Now, look, a federal job guarantee, right? So they asked a bunch of states, people in states, do you want a federal job guarantee, right? So if you need a job, the government is going to be able to guarantee you a job if you want one. Now, the lowest amount of support for a federal jobs guarantee, according to a poll conducted by Civis Analytics and Data for Progress, was in Utah, where it had only 57% support backing a plan. 57%. That's the low point. Higher point is states like Mississippi, where 72% of respondents said, yes, we would love to have a federal jobs guarantee. Bernie Sanders recently put out a bill that supports a federal jobs guarantee, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in her platform also supports that. New York, 71%, and a full 84% of respondents in Washington, D.C. want a federal jobs guarantee. Not only that, you had protecting Social Security, massively popular. Getting money into politics. Look, a majority of both Republicans and Democrats despise money in politics because it leads to corruption, because they are no longer represented in their area. You ask any Republican if you would rather have a candidate that is funded from out-of-state billionaires, or you would like to have candidates that are not funded by out-of-state billionaires. What do you think they're going to say? Oh, no. I hate those people coming in from out of state and buying off our elections. Those Republicans. It is a bipartisan issue. It turns out that people don't like corruption. Mainstream, right? Women's rights. Fighting against climate change. Those are mainstream positions. In fact, I want to show you an image here. I'm going to go back to what the scary platform of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. All right. Let's get that off the screen here. That's scary. Housing is a human right. Scary. Criminal justice reform. Scary. Solidarity with Puerto Rico. Super scary. Oh my God. Curb Wall Street gambling. Restore Glass-Steagall. Support seniors. Oh my God. That is so out of the mainstream. And not only that, but of course she wants something called a peace economy as well. That is based not on war. That is based not on the military-industrial complex. Those are incredibly popular positions. But according to Joe Lieberman, she is so far from the mainstream. And now he's saying, look, if you're like me, if you're a centrist like me, you should support Joe Crowley. In fact, he said, thanks to a small percentage of primary votes, all the people in New York's 14th congressional district stand to lose a very effective representative in Washington. Fortunately, Joe Crowley and the voters in his district can prevent this damage. Damage. He's going to damage the party. He's going to damage the party. Well, wait. Are you an independent, Joe? Didn't you quit the Democratic Party? So, look, you want to ask the rest of the centrists that are actually in the party, I'm with her crowd, donut Twitter. I want to ask you guys, do you agree with Joe Lieberman? The guy who's not even a Democrat? Or maybe the whole thing is hypocrisy. Now, in his op-ed, Lieberman also recounted how he faced a difficult choice similar to what Joe Crowley is apparently going to face. Now, again, Crowley's like, I'm not running. I'm just too lazy to get off the ballot. Okay, man. He says, this was difficult to be an independent. So let me give you the quote here, actually. I ran as an independent because I wanted all the voters to decide whether I deserved to continue to serve them in the Senate. This is when he lost against Ned Lamont. It was a risk, but I concluded it was worth it to know that I had taken my fight for the kind of government I believed in as far as I possibly could. Now, but wait a minute. Well, again, I'm with her donut Twitter crowd. You just lost a primary. Didn't the voters speak? Haven't they spoken? What's this about third-party spoilers? If you're somebody who said Bernie should not have run as an independent, or threatened to run as an independent in the primary, which he didn't run as an independent, by the way, you should be critical of this guy, okay? Of Joe Lieberman. There's too many Joes in this story. But look, I guess if you're a member of the establishment, I guess these things don't actually matter, because I haven't heard that outrage yet. But Jeff, he's not a Democrat. Right. Yeah. Well, oh wait, they only say that about Bernie Sanders, by the way. But as I just mentioned, Sanders didn't run as a third-party challenge. No, he endorsed and worked his ass off for Hillary Clinton because he actually has integrity. When he says, I'm going to do something, right? Yes, if I lose the primary, I will go and I will endorse Hillary Clinton. I will work on her behalf. And I won't work against her. And that's exactly what he did. Now, a lot of his supporters were actually really, really angry about that. But nonetheless, he's like, hey, man, look, I promised that I would do this thing, and that's what we're doing. I'm not happy about it. So there we go. Look, here's the other thing, right? Joe Crowley, again, promised to support Ocasio-Cortez, and then is not actually working on her behalf. So, I mean, look, Joe Crowley is about the same as Lieberman. Both ghouls. But anyway, Lieberman also attacked Ocasio-Cortez over abolishing ICE, one policy plank that isn't supported by a majority of Americans. Now, he said she has received the most attention for calling to abolish ICE, immigration and customs enforcement. This makes no sense unless you no longer want rules on immigration or customs to be enforced. Now, wait a minute. Here's the thing. There's something called border control. Now, what is border control supposed to do? Aren't they supposed to control the border? Then what's ICE's job? ICE basically is now being just used to round up legal immigrants. Yes, they're rounding up legal immigrants, people who are naturalized citizens, and deporting them. So what are they if not brown shirts? But see, Lieberman is using right-wing talking points. Let me give you the truth of the matter. ICE actually didn't exist until 2003, right? So all this complaining about, oh my God, if you get rid of ICE, you destroy any border security because you want open borders. You want open borders. But wait a minute. We had border security before ICE. ICE was created under the Department of Homeland Security. And even if we got rid of ICE, we would still have the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services and the United States Custom and Border Protection. Yeah, but no, we're going to have open borders and no border security. No, this is a right-wing talking points coming from Lieberman. Lieberman, who used to be a Democrat. Well, he no real Democrat, that's for sure. Look, here's the thing. Lieberman, even back when he was a Democrat, he was a supporter of the Iraq War. That's disastrous. He was also instrumental in helping kill the public option, and was even hired by a law firm of one of Donald Trump's attorneys. He also undercut the the recount effort for the 2000 election, that same election that brought us George W. Bush. And in 2008, he supported, over President Obama, John McCain. Is there any reason we should be listening to Joe Lieberman? No. He's absolute trash. And he should not be listened to, especially by members of the Democratic establishment, or anybody who's against Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Because, man, this is a horrendous article, but it shows you what no labels Joe Lieberman, what he really believes. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.